Hello, hello. Welcome to Me Time with Mind Escape Vibe, where it is your time to be kind to your mind. I am super excited because each week I have had the opportunity to sit down with some dynamic women. And today, my guest is Lakeyshia Moore, a very good friend of mine who has agreed to participate in Corporate Women Speak. So I'm super excited. And I am going to just take a pause because my brain is like, yes. And let Keisha introduce herself. Keisha, why don't you introduce yourself to the Me Timers?
Hi, my name is Lakeyshia Moore. I am currently Director of Coding at Parkland Hospital in Dallas, where I oversee both the hospital and the professional coding and billing for Parkland. So, never a dull moment. I also have two very active kids, one who's older, and my daughter who's 13, who's in gymnastics and keeps me quite busy. That's a little bit about me.
All right, all right. I always like to start with your mental victory vibe celebration. And this is a great time to ask you this. I have to tell everyone this story. So, Keisha and I met at a HEMA in Chicago moons ago. And we were it was me, her, and another young lady that would roll with us when we were at Ahima. And Keisha had these arms that were not, remember, you knew what I was going for, didn't you? And the arms were like, and we'd look at the arms, we'd be like, how can we get that? So, you know, I'm wondering if your mental victory vibe celebration is how many push ups you do, because those arms were sculpt, girl. We look, I've still been trying to achieve that. I remember I can still picture it. So
Well, keyword had. I was a little younger then. I am working out. So yes, part of my personal victory is to work out daily. I am trying to work out. I'm actually leading a workout group in my neighborhood with ladies. So we work out at 5:30 every day. I create a boot camp style workout for us, and we get it in every single day. So
get it,
I'm
girl.
super excited, happy about it. So that's my way of getting those arms back. Every single day before my feet hit the floor, I say a prayer. I give thanks for to God for waking me up in the morning. That is, part of my mental victory, giving thanks to God because, everybody doesn't wake up in the morning. And so we have to be grateful when we do. And then reading a daily word every single day, it helps me start my day off positive. It helps me get my mind right. And, one of the other things is I have to make my bed. That's my first to do task. If I don't make my bed in the morning, my whole day is off. It's crazy. But making my bed is my first check of the day, like my first accomplishment of the day. So, and mentally, I'm not even kidding. If I don't do it, my whole day is thrown off because
Wow.
I feel like it's in chaos because I didn't start my day off like I normally would. So, those are the things that I do every single day. So, to help me
Wow.
with my mental victory, help me get my day started on a positive note, knowing that, hey, I've got this.
Girl. I like that. I cannot say that making the bed is like one of the first tasks.
That's okay. That's okay. you know,
But I did make a mental note of that.
and I don't remember where I got that from, but I heard somebody say that that first accomplishment, start whatever your first accomplishment is of the day. If you can quickly accomplish something at the beginning of the day, then you can feel proud moving into the rest of your day, knowing
Mm.
that yes, you've accomplished something. Because sometimes we get in the busyness of our day, and at the end of the day, we sit down and we think, "Dog, dang, I didn't get anything done today."
Mhm.
So hey, I can say I made my bed.
I know that's right. I know. I like that. That's a nice tip, actually. That is a nice tip. So, what is your personal empowerment theme song?
you know, um, I'm not sure if a lot of people are familiar, but Mandisa Overcomer. Mandisa is an artist that I think she was on American Idol. Um, she was on one of those shows, but anyway, she is a powerful artist, Christian artist, and she has this song called Overcomer, and it's an upbeat song that really helps me through a busy day, because it really talks about, we're going to have dull moments. Sometimes we feel like we can't get it done, but, we're overcomers. And through Christ, we can do all things, all things. And so no matter what comes, this song really helps to get me motivated. It keeps, especially when, the stones of the day are coming, at you. And it's like, oh my God, I feel like I just can't do this. This song, look it up. It's a really powerful song, and it's my theme song. I love to turn it up loud. My daughter and I in the car, and we're singing. When she has her gymnastics meets and her competitions, I'm like, you're an overcomer, so you can do anything. You can do this. And so this is what this song does for us. So I that's my theme song.
I can't wait to listen. What I'm doing is curating a list because I ask all of my interviewees about their personal empowerment theme song. And I am going to create a playlist and post it in the Mind Escape Vibe community. So ladies can go and, all right, and catch a beat, catch some inspiration and motivation from the different theme songs that's curated from all of the ladies that spending time on me time with Mind Escape Vibe. So I did write it down.
Awesome. I'll have to look for that playlist.
It is definitely growing. And I hadn't really paid attention to it until I was who was I interviewing? It's probably an interview or two ago. And I said, Renee, are you gonna show us the playlist? Because you asked everyone, and I'm like, I added to my pleasure playlist and haven't shared it. And I was like, yeah, I need to share that playlist. So I know you talked about being thankful, and the first thing you do in the morning is saying a prayer. Can we talk more about your process on expressing gratitude? What else is your part of your process of expressing gratitude, especially when your day gets super duper busy? Because you've already mentioned it's never a dull moment.
Yeah, that is true. I think that one of the things, again, besides prayer and praise, that is first and foremost of my way to express gratitude. Even in those times when we have struggles, and again, those stones, I'm going to call them stones of life, come. We should give thanks, because even for those stones. So, I really try, even though it's hard sometimes, but I really try to find the positive in even the negatives or the stones that come every single day, to figure out what lesson should I be getting from this so that I can move forward. So, that's one of the things that I try to do. Because, we all have stress, we all have pain. And so we have to give thanks for even those times, because we have to figure out, why am I going through this? How can I help someone else soften their blow, since I've already gone through this? So sharing my story is also a way. Sharing my victories and my painful moments is also a way of showing gratitude. But my passion, I love mentoring. I love mentoring up and coming leaders. I love mentoring students. And so that's my way of giving back, donating my time, giving my skill, my lessons that I've learned to young leaders, up and emerging leaders. Because it's hard, and coming out of school and getting into the workplace is very challenging. And if you haven't networked or don't have a mentor to help you, it could be a struggle. It could be hard. And so I really enjoy mentoring and giving back my time and my skills that I have learned that someone taught me. So it's about giving back. And so that's what I enjoy doing. So that's how I express gratitude.
What would advice would you give an emerging adult coming out of college that they have competing priorities? Their competing priorities could be, I know I have this degree now. The expectation is that I find work, but I'm still trying to find me and I still want to have this social life. What advice would you give an emerging adult that's graduating this month, or even an adult that is actually in the career field? They're in their career, but they feel like they need something different. Not only do you have expectations for yourself, but you have the expectations of other folks coming at you. What advice would you give them on taking a step back and really deciding how to start?
Well, first, self-awareness is key, and I know we talk a lot in the industry about emotional intelligence and self-awareness, but it's really, really key, because when you're self-aware, you know your triggers, you know what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot take. And so I think that is the very first thing, is to learn yourself. Give yourself permission and space to think through, okay, what is it do I need to get done? Ask yourself, and this is something I tell my leaders today, right now, because we all get so overwhelmed. And I always tell my team, don't allow other things to hijack your time. And so to keep that from happening, I tell them to ask themselves this question as often as they need to. What am I trying to accomplish today, this moment, this week? What are my goals? That helps to keep you focused. It helps to keep you in the now, but also, give yourself permission to take a brain break, I call it a brain break, whether it's meditating, whether it's praying or taking a nap or doing absolutely nothing. I tell my daughter, everything is a choice. And every single day I tell her, when she gets out of the car to go into school, I tell her, make good choices. Everything is a choice. And we either choose to be present in oneself, or we choose to be chaotic, or we allow others to choose for us. But everything is a choice. And because there's always going to be something to do, always. There's always a competing priority. There's always something at work. There's always something dealing with family. So it's about, prioritizing. One of the things that really helped me as an up and coming leader, I didn't even realize I was doing this, but, and I have to give credit to Stephen Covey. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is amazing. If you have not read the book, if you don't know what that is, look it up. Those 7 habits are instrumental in helping you become an excellent leader and help you balance your life work, or help you have work-life balance. So because those habits are not true, it's for highly effective people, right? So it's for everything. So and that, and the first one is to be proactive, right? That's the very first one. So when you're being proactive, that aligns with making those right choices, thinking through things. But there's at the end of the day, like I said, it's really about giving yourself permission to take some downtime, to take some time for yourself, because there's always going to be something there, and setting those priorities, those goals, to make sure you can get things accomplished and making good choices. I know a lot of that's easier said than done, but it's a process. And once you get it down, then, you're good. So people talk about me all the time. My friends will laugh at me because I'll be like, I'm so tired. And I can't wait till 2 weeks from now. They're like, why 2 weeks? Because that's when I've scheduled when I'm going to sleep in. You schedule when you're going to sleep in? Yes, I do. It's my time. And I'll schedule Keisha days where I do whatever Keisha wants to do. So, and I'm not allowing anyone to hijack my Keisha day, whether it's doing nothing, whether it's going to the spa, getting my nails done, whatever it is, it's a Keisha day. I could sit down and watch and binge watch Netflix all day, whatever it is, it's my choice. But I schedule that. So, and that's what I do. And that's the advice I would give because, again, there's always something. Always something. I actually have stopped telling people when I take a day off because when you take a day off and people know that you're off, they're going to fill your day.
Yes, they are. That is actually, look, you see, I perked up on that.
Right. People will fill your day and they'll ask, can you do this? Will you do this? Can you go here? Will you do? And if you're like me, I don't like telling people no, but I will. So I just decided I'm not going to let people know when I'm off. I'm just going to, take my day and enjoy it.
I know that's right.
Because when people think you're available, they don't think, oh, well, she has something that she needs to do. It's, oh, well, can you do this for me? Oh, well, can you watch the kids? Or, hey, or can you go to the store and take me this? Yeah, so no.
Yes, that's exactly. I like it.
And I tell my team, take a mental PTO day, take a day. And we call it, that brain break, that mental break that we all need. And don't check your email.
Yes.
Don't. Because guess what? It's going to be there when you return tomorrow or the next day. It's not going anywhere. So take a day for yourself and do what you want to do, even if that's absolutely nothing. That is so extremely important, especially for women, because we are always going and always doing, which is why I have to schedule my sleep time, my Keisha days, my downtime, because we're always going, especially if you have a young child, that's active in sports or something, there's always.
My head would be blown every day. And I had to move from a to-do list to a desire list where I set goals just for the hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes into asking yourself, what am I trying to accomplish right now, today, this week? What goals? I mean, that is so critical. And asking yourself that one question will keep you focused and keep you from allowing distractions to come in, because the world is full of distractions and will come at you if you allow it. And you are in control of your time. You are. Protect it. So, I tell my managers, because people are going to, always think their emergencies are our emergencies, right?
Yes.
I've got a deadline today at 3:00 and I'm emailing you at 12:00.
Yes.
And sometimes you can do that, but sometimes you can't. It's about communication, setting those expectations, to say, unfortunately, I'm not able to complete that today, but I can get it to you by 3, but I can get it to you by 5 because I have other things. Or, I'm able to do this today, but in the future, can you please give me enough time because I'm having to set aside other things that needed to get done in order to help you accomplish your goal. So it's clearly communicating whether you can or you cannot do it, but you're also setting those expectations for future, because if you get in a habit of stopping what you're doing to help somebody out, I promise you it's going to become a habit of theirs to send you their emergency late all the time. So you have to set those expectations, and there's a way to do that very professionally and politely.
You already leaped right into boundaries. What advice would you give with that fear of, I don't know how this is going to be received?
Well, the reality of it is that I'm trying to figure out a nice way to say this, because, to me, when you're communicating with someone, as long as you're setting clear expectations and you're letting them know, and you're doing it in a professional, polite manner, you can't control how someone is going to receive something. You can only control how you communicate it. So don't spend so much time worrying or thinking about how someone is going to receive it. Now, I'm not saying don't spend any time. I'm saying don't spend so much time, because you will get bogged down with, oh, well, if they don't like this, and what if they say this, and how. What you're doing is protecting your time, being clear and communicating. And sometimes, like I just said in my example, sometimes it's not a no, it's just not right now. It may be in a couple of hours later. And then that lets them know that they need to manage their time better. You know what I mean? Because people can't drop everything and make your emergency their emergency. And so you have to be bold enough to speak up for yourself and protect your time. Your time is valuable. Time is so extremely valuable and precious. And there are always distractions, and only you can set those boundaries. And I wasn't always that way. I used to never tell anyone no.
Well, how did you get this way?
Because I got tired and I was running myself thin and I was stressing myself out, and everybody else was good. I look at them, they good and happy go lucky. You're stressed out. So I learned that, you know what? I can say no. It's okay. Because it's my time. Or I can say not right now, but maybe later, and be okay with that. So you have to give yourself permission to be okay with that and move forward, and not worry about things that are out of your control. You can't worry about that, how somebody perceives something or receives something, or that's on them. That's not on you.
So what I'm hearing you say is to start with giving yourself permission. And next, to understand that whether they receive it or not, the control is about self. It's about your emotions, your responses, and how you respond. And self-awareness is key, because your triggers, because they could say something that hits a trigger right away, hits a button. But you have to be self-aware, so it doesn't take you to that, revert you to ratchet, is what I like to say. It doesn't revert you to ratchet in those situations. You can kind of you empathize.
Some people may think, oh, this is a selfish approach, and and it's okay for you to think that. But from my perspective, and having come from not telling anyone no, and living through all of that stress, and again, watching everyone else around me live their life happy and free and have their time to do whatever while I didn't, it allowed me to really sit down and think out my priorities and my time and how I spend my time. And so, it's your choice. Again, everything's a choice. It's your choice. It's your choice.
It's definitely a choice. And it was a choice. It was a hard choice for me as well. I mean, we've had long conversations, but it was hard for me to learn. But when I did, I was free. I was free.
And I can remember having a conversation with my family. I'm always that person everybody call for money, or when they need something or whatever. I'm that person. So I had to sit everybody down and say, listen, things are going to change. You're going to see a change in me. I'm going to start telling you no. And this is why. And I gave them some examples. When you asked this, or when I did this, this is what it resulted for within me or for me. And so I gave them that heads up, like it wasn't like one day they woke up and Keisha started saying no. I sat them down and I communicated with them ahead of time and I let them know. And then, so the next time, it was funny because, a cousin of mine wanted to move in, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But, I'll need to know how long you plan to stay. And so any other time I'd be like, yes, okay, fine. But this time I'm like, setting those and asking for goals. Like, when are you? So it's not infinity. It's not forever.
Infinity and beyond.
And she was so upset with me. And so I had to remind her, listen, I want to be able to help you out, but, I need to know, when you are going to step out on your own, so that, but, she's good and we're good. And after that conversation, she was like, I understand,
Actually, it's empowering because it's giving them their power to say, okay, this is the direction that I'm going to take in my life. Let me formulate a plan.
right.
That's a form of empowerment. But at the time, when you're in survival mode, it's
Yeah.
not seen that way. It's a continual conversation. It's a continual reminder. It's a continual growth opportunity as well, because it's opening the doors for communication. You can actually talk about it and talk about how it's received,
Mhm.
and maybe get an idea of, well, when I say it this way, they don't receive it well, so let me try it this way. It helps you. It helps the sender and the receiver,
Mhm.
come up with different strategies as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So often, and I hear this a lot from women, they'll say to me, I am too busy, or I don't have time for that, and not leaving any grace for themselves. And eventually it becomes an unhealthy coping mechanism. What advice would you give for especially emerging adults or women that are in the middle of it, and they just don't know how to get out of that mindset?
Well, I hate to keep saying this, but I told you guys, I tell my daughter this every single day. Everything's a choice. It's your
Mm.
choice to fill your day with busyness. It's your choice to you're making a choice um, to think that everything has to be perfect and not give yourself permission to submit your best work. No, because what is perfect anyway?
Yes, I
What
agree.
is what is perfect?
Doesn't exist. It is
You know,
actually the start of chronic conditions. That's what perfect is.
right?
Perfect is a symptom to a chronic condition.
Yes.
That's what it
Now,
is.
what I would tell you, if you're that person that puts that type of stress on yourself, I would say define perfect for yourself
Mm.
first. First. So, what is it before you submit this project, if you will? What do you want it to look like?
Mm.
Once you get there, be happy with it, submit it. Because it's, I'm over coding, right? So I tell my coders, you and I are going to can code the same record, and we're going to code it differently. Somebody's always going to find something. There's always going to be something that could have been done differently, or, and so you have to be okay with whatever your definition of perfect or good enough is for whatever it is you're doing. So, because if you don't define it, then you're reaching for something you're never going to get to, right?
Yeah, something
Or
that's
that
just
you don't even know what
unattainable.
you're reaching for. You know,
I like that.
you need to define it. I would say, go in knowing what is it that I want to accomplish. And it goes back to that question, what goal am I trying to accomplish right now for this? And I hate to keep repeating myself, but these are fundamental things that you could do, fundamental, like little habits that you could form that help you move forward. you
And I
know
think it's important that they start to develop the habits now.
yeah, and I've worked with some people that have thought that it was a great thing that they never took a day off or never called
Oh.
in or never, they're like, I have 560 hours of PTO in my bank.
Mm.
Really? That is exhausting for me to even think about it. Like, you are not taking any time for yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, and so, these companies, we love them, and we work for them. We go in, we give our all, but they're going to be there when we're long gone. So
Yes,
take
they
time
are.
for yourself. I'm not saying not perform your job duties. Please don't misunderstand. When you go to work, you give your best at what you're doing for that day. And when you're taking your me time, you give your best to yourself as well. You give just as much to yourself as you're giving to your employer. So
I do believe that's a conversation we've had in the past when I
yes.
called in tears and you were like, oh, you need to stop this crying and hold your head up.
Yeah. You've got to, I mean, we are so hard on ourselves.
Yes, we are.
We are so hard. We think everything has to be perfect. I know I am. I am so hard on myself, and so much so that I plan everything, and that's it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because, people think that I'm not adventurous and that I don't like to do things spur of the moment. I actually do. But even that spur of the moment thing, I'm going to be thinking about how I'm going to plan.
I mean, because I've seen you do spur of the moment things. So that's why I'm like, okay, but you do plan. Okay, yeah, we can do this, but we only have 45 minutes because the next until the hour we have to start moving.
Right, exactly. And a lot of that is I don't like to be late and I like to be professional. I try to be as professional as I can, especially in the workplace. But I like to have fun too. I tell my team, we're going to have a great time getting our job done and we're going to excel at it. We are going to do a great job. So, that's why I try to play as hard as I work.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right. So I have a quote for you.
Mm-hmm.
You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so that you know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. And this is by Maya Angelou. And of course, she's one of my favorites. And what advice would you give an emerging adult that's feeling defeated?
Well, first of all, listen to Mendice's Overcomer.
Okay.
Because that song is going to lift you up and it's going to encourage you. Okay? That's number one.
Your personal empowerment song.
Yes,
have it ready and have it on repeat.
Have it ready. Second, everyone fails.
Yes.
It's okay to fail. We try to shield our children and our employees from failure when sometimes that's the only way we learn. Failure, there are lessons in failures, and so nobody has ever gotten, when you think about people that invent stuff, do you think that they didn't fail first?
Right.
Multiple times. I mean, we think about the invention of the light bulb, right? How many times did he fail? So know that failure is a part of life. So keep your head up and figure out. What I do is I don't stay in that failure, or I try not to stay in the failure mode in my head very long. What I try to do is I ask myself, okay, what could I have done better, differently, said or done differently? What can I learn from it? And I'll be like, okay, Lord, what can I get from this? What are you trying to tell me so that I can move on? Because I'm the type of person, I don't like to stay in the past. I like to move forward. So I'm not going to stay. And I encourage you, don't stay in that sulking moment or holding your head down too long, because it's a distraction. It's keeping you from your goal. It's keeping you from getting where you're where you're trying to get to. So it's okay. I tell my leaders when we're having our meetings and they're wanting to vent about something, okay, and I actually do this. I put them on a clock. Okay, you got 5 minutes to vent. Go. Then we're going to talk about how we're going to move forward. Okay. So, because venting is good too. Venting is good too. Sometimes you need that time to process. Okay, that when you have that head down, or you are having those moments, spend that time processing what you could do differently instead of going over and over and over in your head what went wrong. There's a difference.
There is
Okay.
a difference. You're
Say that
absolutely
again.
right.
You can spend your time thinking about what I did this wrong. I did this wrong. I change that. What could I have done differently? Maybe I could have tried this. Maybe I should have tried that. So it's an experience for you or someone else for the next time, if there is a next time.
Hmm.
But I mean, again, we all make mistakes. We all fail.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's perfect. We're gonna have times where we do the wrong thing. It's about where you're going to fix it. How are you going to fix it, and how to move forward. Don't stay in the past for too long.
I
Okay.
love that. I love that. What advice would you give your younger self to help cultivate self-trust? And I know you got a mini me over there too. So
you know, trust is huge. And what I would have, knowing now what I didn't know then, is first and foremost, it's I would tell myself it's okay to trust myself even when I'm in doubt. You know, because you have to, again, move forward. So in
Mhm.
order for you to take those steps, you have to trust yourself. There may be a little bit of doubt, like, do I really want to do this? Should I do this? Can I do this? But you've got to trust yourself. So because there's many times as I was coming up as a new leader, I didn't trust myself,
Mm.
and so I spent lots of time second guessing myself instead of trusting myself and failing and fixing. So I would also, I think self confidence is key in self trust. You
Mhm.
know, having confidence in myself, knowing that I can, and I will, helps build trust within myself. Um, Also, be true to my authentic self.
Mm.
We want to put on that mask
Yes.
and be somebody that we're not because we think that's what the world or
Mhm.
our employer or whomever wants us to be.
Yes.
Um, Eventually, that mask comes off. It
Mhm.
does, and 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 sometimes the repercussions of that mask coming off are steep. And so
Mm.
I always tell people, be true to yourself. If people don't accept you for who you are, then maybe they shouldn't be in your circle of trust. Maybe they shouldn't be in your circle. And I have to be careful what I pray for, because I ask God to remove. I said, Lord, I need you to clean house. I need you to remove anyone in my life that is not for me, that is not, led by you, who's going to help me and have my best interest at heart. And I lost a friend that I'd had for over 20 something years.
Wow.
And I didn't understand that. I mean, it was like, but when I sat down and I thought about it, I
Mhm.
remembered that prayer, and God showed me why He removed that friend and
Wow.
why that relationship had run its course. And I tell people all the time, sometimes people are only in your life for a season. You have to know when that season is over. And you have
Mhm.
to, look at everything like, why is this person in my life? Like, we talk a lot about, us and how we met. We were just talking about this the other day,
Mhm.
and how we've helped each other over the years. And I mean, we have to be smart enough to realize that, okay, this relationship, friendship, work relationship, whatever it is, has run its course. It's time to move on,
Mhm.
and move on with your head held high.
Yes.
So I had to learn the hard way. So, and there's nothing wrong with being a goal seeker. You know what I mean? With having your goals and taking steps to reach them. There are going to be people that are going to try to pull you down. There are going to be people that are jealous. envious, but that's okay. You have to remember your goal. Don't, how do I say this? Don't link or shorten yourself for someone else to be taller or heightened, or
Yeah.
so you
Nipping and tucking your originality and then dimming your light.
don't let people dim your lights.
Mm-hmm.
Allow your light to shine and pay it forward. Pay
Mm-hmm.
it forward. Pay it forward. That is so important. You heard me say I love to mentor, so that's one of the things how I pay it forward. So I love to do that, but you know, um, it's hard. Trust is one of those things that is very hard. And when someone, even yourself, like when you lose, you can, because we can lose trust in ourselves from our
Oh,
decisions.
yes.
And we seem to think I always make bad choices, or I
Mm-hmm.
always choose the wrong thing, and I always do. You have to forgive yourself and figure out how you're going to move forward. How am I going to change that decision? You
Mm-hmm.
know, some as a woman or a single woman. So you have to think about that and figure out, okay, why is that? What's the reason? How can I move forward?
That's a question that I always think about. And I always think about my trust in my gut, my intuition, and rejecting the negative thoughts that have come from the times when I didn't. Because that's how naysayer creeps in. She creeps in when I start to think about the times when I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just as quickly as she creeps in, you can push her out. It's a
Mm-hmm. Give her a
choice.
different
But you
job.
have to recognize that that's what's happening. Once you recognize that that's what's happening, then you take action and you remove it. You speak a positive affirmation over yourself to keep that from creeping in. So whatever it is that you need to do to change that mentality or that mindset, then you do it. Protect yourself, protect your mind, protect your space.
I love it. So I just want to say, you my girl. I love you.
I love
Yeah.
you.
Look, who would have thought that walking through McCormick Place, walking those, it was felt like we were walking 50 miles, but it wasn't. It just
Yeah,
felt like it.
it was a
That
mile though.
that how many years later? I'd like to say it's more than 12. I,
Mm-hmm.
but I value you. And I just like to say here to my me timers, when I talk about accountability advocates, that person that you can lean on and talk to without judgment, and they will help send you in the right direction. This woman right here has served as an accountability advocate for me multiple times. She is one of my go-tos when I know that my brain is all over the place. So I appreciate you and thank you for coming on today.
Thank
I
you for
thank you so
having me.
much.
I
You
love you.
know,
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And I'm so super proud of you. I'm
thank you.
so super proud of you. You are doing it and you are doing it and you keep your head up and
Yes.
keep going. You're doing a fantastic job. I'm so proud of you. I really
Thank
am.
you so much. Thank you. All right, me timers, you heard it here on Me Time with Mind Escape Vibe with my guest, Keisha. And just remember, this is your time to be kind to your mind. You have a good day.